welcome. You know who you are, and what you are, and what you are, and what you all are. You are really awesome. It's 5:10, and you're still here at JFL squeezing everything out of it. So, to settle who we are, you are a magnificent audience. And I am Jos Roseboom. I'm a freelance software developer. And last year, I was doing that for MoneyDolly. And MoneyDolly is an American company that creates fundraising software. So high school students can raise funds for their sports tournaments, stuff like that. And we, as MoneyDolly developers, felt more and more like that guy over here. When we needed to change our code to add a feature or fix some bug, more information was needed to put in our head than we could comfortably host there, resulting in some StackOverflow or a brain explosion. Now, that's not very nice. It lowers the joy in your work, and you make more bugs. It takes longer to accomplish the task. So we decided we wanted to fix that. So today I will talk about the problem we run into, the solution we picked, and how Spring Modulith helped us with that. So to start with the problem, the structure of our code. We did not consider the structure of our code very clear. And structure, if you look for structure in the dictionary, it says something like the way we build things from other things. And we can apply that to Java because we build things in Java. And if we apply that, then, well, we start with instructions like C is B plus A, and we group them into methods. And we group those into a class, and we put the class in a package, and it ends up in a jar that we deploy as a runnable jar or as a WAR archive, something like that. All those groupings are important for the overall structure of your code and readability, but today I will just focus on the package level. So the decision we make what classes to put in a package and what package to put in other packages, so the nesting of it. And we all have to make those decisions, unless you have a really small project where you just put 5 classes in the root package. But most of the times that's not the case. And what we often do is group them by the role they have. So for example, we have a controller package, a service package repository. Probably there are more roles in your application, but that's the way we group them. Now, you might have a lot of services or controllers, so we use some sub-packages like this. We have an order and a product package. And then, well, we're done with the really big packages. So we're back to small packages again, which is nice. But we're not really done there yet, because if you look at this picture, then, well, this is kind of how it was in our case. And you see here the controller, the service, but there are also other role-related packages like DTO, request, response, stuff like that. The blue arrows here, they indicate the relations, and, well, the dashed ones are even circular dependencies. But even if I don't take into account the added complexity of those circular dependencies, it's still a mess. And it makes sense, basically, that it is a mess, because we have a product controller, and it uses a product service. Makes sense, doesn't it? And that uses a product repository. So those dependencies are inevitable. But still, this mess was our problem. And this is the way we decided to fix it. Not something we invented ourselves, but just turn it around. Instead of horizontal slicing it, so grouping it by the role they had in the process, we slice it horizontally. So starting with the subject it was about, or the feature, or in terms of domain-driven design by their bounded context. Well, that was a good solution for us. But if you do that with Java, we kind of have a lack of force. You can just introduce a circular dependency between those packages. If my order package uses a product package, and the product package uses the order package, the compiler says, go ahead, be my guest, no problem. But it adds complexity. Access restriction. Actually, Java offers a bit of help there with package private. So if you just omit the public keyword, then that class can only be used within its own package. Now, let's do a quick raise of hands here. If you create a new class in your IntelliJ and it says public class blah 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 blah, who of you takes some time to just think about whether you can omit that public keyword? Who does that? Okay, cool. Quite some. And that's very good, because if you can design your class just to be used in its own package, then the compiler will help you. You won't need anything else. The compiler will help you encapsulate that. But if I design my class to be used by some other package, then I'm a bit out of luck here, because I have to make it public in order to have that other package use it. But if I make it public, not only that other class can use it, the entire world can use it. Now, that is for us where Spring Modulith comes into play. And, well, it's a Spring project, as you might have guessed from the name. It works with Spring Boot 3 and above, and it can block circular dependencies. It can restrict access in a more fine-grained, controlled way than just the entire world or its own package. And the test fails on a unit test. And if you can't have the compiler to let the computer say no, then, well, a unit test is probably the next best thing. You don't have to wait for some deployment pipeline to finish. It just fails on your own machine before committing and pushing. Of course, given that you run your unit test before you commit and push, but, well, that's another story. Now, how do I do that? Well, that's a very good question, and I will show you that. So, let me switch to my IntelliJ. Here you see, I don't know, I think it's readable. It's quite a big screen. It's the advantage of a big screen. This is a very simple application. It's the freelancer finder, because, well, I'm a freelancer and the world, like you, needs to find people like me, of course. So this application makes total sense. And no, I don't want it. Yeah. What key is stuck? Let's make a quiz here. What key is stuck that makes clicking do this?
Isn't it the mouse, the other mouse you have, like the clicker?
And the clicker is over here. I really don't want to remove this.
That's why you were typing, was also removing the letter?
Yeah.
So I think some buttons that maybe just open. Open an editor and see what key it is. GPT, come on. Where's Brian when you need him?
Quickly copy, back it up, then the person moves, then copy back.
It's backspace, yes. But I don't. Sorry for this. Thanks for the support. Hey, why did no one of you had this quiz question right? I set it up carefully and no one got it. But okay, I will forgive you. And luckily we have some time to talk about Spring Modulith as well. So this is a very simple application that makes sense, and it's a Spring Modulith. This is the entry point. It's not very spectacular, but it's relevant because the definition of Spring Modulith is that the direct subpackages of the package of the entry point are the modules. So in this case, bidding, freelancer, and review are modules because they are the direct subpackage of the entry point package. Now, review.analysis is considered an internal package by Spring Modulith, so it cannot be used by other packages. Those classes, they can be used by other packages, the internal package cannot. And Spring Modulith also has some nice documentation features, and it's not really topic of this talk, but just to give you a global overview of this application, I might just use it. And by just running this unit test, it generates in my target folder some documentation. And if you have the proper plugins in IntelliJ, it will render an overview. And here are the modules that I just discussed: review, bidding, and freelancer, and how they relate. Depends on here mean I cannot compile without you. Review as a users relation, that's even stronger. So it means I use a Spring Bean. And of course, it can also not compile without that. But the true magic is the unit test that I was talking about. Here we have the application modules, which is a Spring Modulith class, and it reads basically the module of my app, and it verifies them. So I can just run it here, and well, it passes. So let's start with circular dependencies. If we look at the bidding and freelancer relation here, then we can easily introduce a circular dependency if we add a relation from freelancer to the bid service. So let's introduce that. And rerun the unit test. Now it fails because there is a circular dependency, but not only it fails, it only gives a very good error message indicating why it fails. Because bidding had a dependency to freelancer, and freelancer had dependency to bidding. Now, of course, as a developer, we want to solve that. How do we solve it? Well, Spring Modulith also tells us what the dependencies are. So bidding here, it says the field bid.freelancer has the type of freelancer in bid. I can click on it, I see, okay, here's the dependency from bidding to freelancer, that's nice. Similarly, the dependency from freelancer to bidding is described here. I can click on it. Yeah, that makes sense, I just added that. But so you know how to fix it, how we can fix the circular dependency. Now, let's roll this back and continue to access restriction. As said, this is an internal package, and here we have the review analyzer, which is protected by Java. So I cannot use it without the package. That's very good. This is designed to be only used within the review.analysis. However, analyzer service here is public, and it's public for a reason, because review service is using it. And also in terms of Spring Modulith, that's perfectly okay. So it's used within the module. But because we made it public, the entire world can use it. And if, for example, in the bid service, we refer to it, Java says, okay, it doesn't stop us from doing that. However, if we run the unit test, it fails. It tells us module bidding depends on non-exposed type freelancer finder.analyzer service within the module review. So you cannot use it. So Spring Modulith hereby helps you to encapsulate this package very nicely. Now, looking at the time, and of course that's basically my own mistake because the quiz question with the keyboard, I will stop this demo. But even if we hadn't do that, there's still a lot of more. And if you are, you have questions if like, can I have a more fine-grained control on my modules? Or what if I have a really big project and I want to gradually introduce Spring Modulith? Or what refactorings are possible to break dependencies? Well, those are all valid questions that I want to talk about with you, but I cannot have it today because I have 52 seconds now. So we won't do it today. That's the bad news. But the good news is, of course, we can have a drink. Let's listen to Marianne's talk after my talk and then have a drink here at JFAL. We can connect on LinkedIn. Just find my name or scan the dinosaur. You have 33 seconds left to do that. And or you can send me an old school email. That's also possible. Amsterdam Jug, November 19, I will talk for 30 minutes, so double the pleasure of today, and I will leave out the quiz with my keyboard. And Arnhem Jug, 2 days later, I will talk for 60 minutes, so the demo will be much bigger, and I can show you all that stuff. And it's double the double pleasure of today. So I hope you learned something today and had a great JFAL. I thank you all for your attention, and Have fun with Marianne.